There is reportage of the high rate of divorce in Ghana in a certain period. This has gotten an implication on our social fiber and development. I've listened and read so many commentaries. Francis Aban sought to find out why on his wall. A couple of people, a lot of media houses have shown interest, seeking to find out why there is a high rate of divorce. Well, from my professional perspective, and one of the areas I offer coaching services is marriage and relationship. And over the years of that experience is what I want to bring to light. First of all, we don't have statistics on successful marriages. Secondly, we don't have statistics on marriages that are just hinging on. They are just there for their sake, most especially two things: because of the kids involved, because of a certain status quo or a certain status they want to carry, sometimes because of situations that are there to the marriage, to the end. So we are faced with three things. That is the stats on divorce, unavailability of stats on successful marriages, and the unavailability of stats on marriages that are just hinging on. So for us to be able to understand the why on that spectrum, we need to also acknowledge the absence of these various statistics. It will allow us to put the discussion in the right perspective and possibly offer suggestions that can mitigate. Because one thing some of us are aware of is that the healthiness and the quality of marriages forms the nucleus of how healthy a society can be. It is just fundamental. The healthiness of how marriages are has got a direct impact on the national or the community development of a nation. So the absence of that statistics on successful marriages create a challenge when we want to address the high rate of divorce. So we need to be able to find out the ones that are working. I want to juxtapose this reality with the trend of suicide. You know, when one person succeeds in committing suicide and we drum home the story, let it trend so much, in as much as we might be educating, and sometimes the lack of the education that goes along with the story of suicide becomes our Achilles heel, which in the long run empowers others who are contemplating suicide to go ahead and carry out. That is how come that when at a certain period you realize that suicide begins to grow quick and fast, and we are hearing a lot about it, it is because the kind of reportage we give suicide stories goes to reinforce others to commit it, because we don't discuss them in the context of how we can support people going through situations of that sort. It's the same way that we are giving the high rate of divorce the reportage because it will trend. It's a story that will trend. From my point and my background as a coach, having gone through marriages, relationships, having coached relationships into beautiful marriages, having coached relationship that had to come to an end, they chose that, having known what we know now, I don't think we can get married. Having coached challenging marriages into successful ones, and having coached challenging marriages that led to healthy divorce, I want to submit that marriage is a very beautiful thing when the two agree to make it so. It's a beautiful. A lot of people were able to do the amazing great things they've done and achieved in life because of the man or the woman they met. And this is paramount. And there's also the flip side of this same statement. People who have achieved so much lost everything because of a certain man, because of a certain woman they met. So then what could be some of the attributing factors to this high rate of divorce? One, because we don't have statistics. That is number one, of successful marriages. We don't have. So there is nothing to really look onto and say, I also want to experience what others are experiencing. I'm not talking about the quoted marriages. The one I'm saying it's hanging on. Those ones, they look so beautiful outside, but they are so cracked and rotten within. It is when you get close and closer, you realize that perhaps yours was even far better. Others have left marriages and they became a better versions of themselves. Others have gone through divorce and that was when they found who they were. I've come across those, it was after divorce they discovered that apparently there was so much they had not paid attention to about themselves, and that was a contributing factor to why they couldn't have successful marriage. And there is nothing wrong about that. Our society is designed culturally to make divorce look like an abomination. Religious tenets and texts make divorce look like an abomination. I have had the experience of coaching a lot of men through divorce and after divorce, and they found themselves back remarried and they are living happily ever after. I know a few of them who have been inclined in this regard will watch this, and I'm proud of the life they've made for themselves, the women they've met again, the children they've produced, and the happiness I know they are enjoying. Marriage is not a route to escape poverty. Marriage is not a route to escape poverty. Marriage is not the true measure of how successful you are in life. Let me give you an example. A lot of us have gone into marriages when we didn't know ourselves. We didn't know who we are as individuals. We had not come to the point of even unravel the better part of who we are. Some didn't know that the lack of the absence of a father in their home damaged them. Some didn't know that the lack of the absence of a mother in their home damaged them. Some didn't know. So it was when they entered marriage and exited, they realized that the fact that I did not have a father, I did not have a mother in my upbringing, is why I was looking for a father in my husband instead of a husband, or a mother in my wife instead of a wife. And because our programming is in that phase, it's not your fault. But you did not discover that all these things might work against you in marriage. You did not discover them. It was during marriage that you discovered that you are heavily broken, and it's not the fault or the cause of even the man or the woman you are in married with. Marriage is not the route to escape loneliness. Marriage is not a route to escape loneliness. Marriage is not a route to escape, because I don't want to commit fornication, so I want to get... Just think about it. Because you don't want to, not because you want to enjoy the beauty of marriage, but because of that caveat. So you enter into marriage because you want the license just to have sex. Not because you want to grow a family together. And one of the fundamental ABC and 1, 2, 3 of marriage is that no single marriage is the same. Just as the DNA we have is not the same to anyone, or the bio of our finger, of our thumbprint is not the same as anyone else on this earth. No marriage is the same. Not a single one is the same. So don't enter into marriages wishing that it becomes like that of your dad and your mom. Don't try to look for your daddy in your husband. The kind of daddy you had, you want to have that in your husband. The kind of mommy you have, you want to have that in your wife. These are total different persons and personalities. And one of the fundamental errors we make, a lot of marriages, especially through the Christian faith, only get counseling from the church, the 6 months, the 3 months. Majority of us did not go through professional, paid for counseling. A lot of us did not go through professional investing, marriage or relationship coaching. So you don't get the best that you deserve when you go for this free for all kind of counseling in the churches. And some of the churches must use professional. Some of the churches must use professional marriage relationship coaches or marriage and relationship counselors. Yesterday on a media platform, I heard a reverend minister, supposed counselor, blaming that the high rate of divorce is caused by men. I was devastated. I was disgusted. And I think I even expressed a level of anger. This won't come out from any professional counselor. That conclusion cannot come from any professional counselor. It cannot come from any professional coach. Because our job is not to find blame and guilt. As a professional coach, my job is not to come into your marriage or relationship to find fault, guilt, and blame. My job is to hold the mirror through questioning so that you can process. You see, we are highly unconscious beings. Our attitude, our perception, all comes from our unconscious being, meaning the pathways of experiences in our brain. So we question you to become conscious of the journey you want to pursue. We question you to become conscious of the decision you want to make. then it allows you to make certain conscious right decisions. Some of these pastors who have turned themselves into counselors, I read something from one of the pastor's friends on Facebook, and he said, the fact that you are a man of God does not also mean you are a counselor. There is the place of professional counseling. Yes, I must acknowledge that there are reverend ministers who have professional career in counseling. There are professional ministers who have professional career in coaching. There are professional ministers who have professional career in therapy. For those ones, I salute. But not those who went to school of theology and did counseling like a subject, not a practice of career. You are also part of the challenge. I've gone into sessions. Couples have come into sessions, and the center of the damage of what was happening into their marriage was because of a pastor who came to play the role of a counselor. And my friends, if you want to seek professional counseling, professional coaching, please check the track record of the supposed counselor you want to go to, the supposed coach you want to go to. It is very imperative. Not all of us are healthy. A lot of us are also carrying our junk around. A lot of us are carrying our own junk around. Why? Haven't you heard a psychologist who have committed suicide before? Haven't you heard a coach who have committed suicide before? Haven't you heard a reverend minister who have committed suicide before? We all carry our junk. So when people bring cases and we are not professional, we play our pain through your subject matters that you bring to us. That is how come any professional you go to, that will draw the line of blame, guilt, shame. You are in danger. Flee. Then also, we have so much high expectation, wrong expectations that leads a lot of us now into marriages. We don't talk in our relationships, fixated on the having sex and the boobs and the butt and the chest and the momo. So now most of our marriages and relationships bottles down on, okay, the good sex and the momo. You enter, and after the first time you realize that marriage does not only rest on the pocket of the man and the breast of the woman. Then you realize that you are not here. So those who just join us, I'm just talking about the trend that there is high rate of divorce. And I'm saying that if you want to really understand what is happening, it is because we have the lack of statistics on successful marriages also. Because you cannot, what are you comparing the high rate of divorce to? What are you comparing? What are you concluding it with? What are you comparing logically? Where is the statistics on successful marriages? So if that is not there, let's be careful in the reportage of saying high rate of divorce. Now let me say one thing. In our immediate past, about 30 years ago, because of our cultural setting, seeking for divorce was almost a taboo. Because of our religious setting, seeking for divorce was like a taboo. There are a lot of people who had their life cut short because of this religious and societal myth about divorce. Because I remember the case of Akuya, whose husband butchered her in the UK. Most of the pastors who had gone into the Akuya, don't worry, you endure, God will pray about it. Not every everything in marriage is about prayer. Some it is therapy, some it is common sense, some it is finding your individual self. So cut the crap of over spiritualizing everything in marriage. Cut that crap. Cut that crap. Stop making marriage so sensitive to spirituality. Cut that crap. Suppose counselors who say there is 1, 2, 3 of this, 2, 4, 5, 6 of marriage, and you make it look like that is all. There is no single marriage on this earth that is the same. So cut that crap. Emmanuel, I cannot alone sit and talk about the metrics of successful marriage. But anyone who is in a very healthy marriage knows. Unfortunately, because maybe we are in the midst of 2 or 3 friends whose marriages are going through challenges, so we are unable to share how good our husbands are. We are unable to share how good our wives are because we are afraid it will bruise the pain of our friend. But if you have healthy friendship, you should be able to use your example to inspire them, not to spite them. The damage we are causing to our society through this unproductive discussion, unavailable comparative statistics to augment the two sides, is what is actually deepening what is happening. You don't know where you are going individually in life. You expect your spouse to know where you are going. Some of you just entered into marriage just to make babies. That was all your priority. Some just entered because, oh, the lady, she's fine. If I have children with her, yeah. Some of you, it is a status, a certain class they belong to. You wanted to belong to that. So when that ends on rocks, I don't even know why we have to count that even as divorce. Because a lot of the divorce cases, they knew, a certain intuitive aspect of them knew that this marriage won't go far. They knew. I have had friends that I knew from day one, even at the I knew this marriage won't go far. I could tell. I could tell it won't work. Because I know the persons involved. I know it won't work. A lot of us have unhealed past hurts. Unhealed past hurts. And we take them into marriages and expect that without professional support and assistance, we think magically it will go off. When you two were dating and she was so attention seeking, you thought it was love. When you were dating and he was so overprotective, you thought it was love. Until you got married and you realized that the guy is a narcissistic. Before you realize that the lady has got junk of unhealed emotions. And now you are here throwing tantrums. You didn't do due diligence. So, I re-echo, don't use marriage as an escape route for a lot of things you cannot even give or do for yourself. Don't use that. Don't let that be your fundamental. Don't use biological clocking. I'm too late to have kids, so giddy. Then you go and grab some guy, then he messes your entire life up. Oh, you too, I'm aging, so Charlie, people are saying you marry, so giddy, you try grab a certain woman, poppy, you are done. Then 2 years you realize that, what have I done? So, this is what I just wanted to chip in. If you are not a qualified, certified with the right track of experience, and you are a reverend minister, back off from marriages in your church in the role of a counselor. Back off. Leave it for the professionals. Don't just, there was a period in Ghana that the cliche of counselors, it started floating. Everybody woke up, he was a counselor. Now it is the turn of coaches. It's the turn of coaches. Every Dick, Tom, and Harry says he or she is a coach. So, you who need the professional coaching in your marriage and your relationship, please ask them questions. Ask them questions. It's in your right. It's in your right to ask the coach you want to go for professional coaching from questions. What is their track record? What? You see, it is not the ABCD we read on YouTube. There are 5 things that a guy proves that he is in love. There are 5 things that girls prove that. Those are one of the that even compound the problems. So some of the times, the person is so learned, and you'll be surprised. The person thinking pattern when it comes to relationship, and some people have not successfully even cohabited with their siblings. Some of us have not successfully been able to cohabit with our siblings, but we want to have a success cohabiting with somebody else's son or daughter. AJ, thank God for social media. What has the supposed coach or counselor been writing on their wall about their career? Ask them about their success rate. If they are giving you genuine success rate, even though we are bound not to mention people's names, because I have a lot of people I have worked for in that regard who are watching me and I cannot mention their name, it's ethically. But if it is factual, their sequence of flow in the people they have supported, you see that it will come seamlessly. And intuitively, you can feel it. You can experience it. How many articles have you read from them? Check their friendship list. How many other people in their career are their friends? How many times do you find them commenting on issues of this nature? Ask them questions. There's no question that is foolish. Ask them. Then also, whatever you cannot do for yourself, don't go and look for it from somebody else's son or daughter. What you can do for yourself. What you can't spend on yourself. What you can't invest in yourself. Don't go and look for it in somebody else's son or daughter. Yes, we all mature differently. And it's not by age. Maturity is not by age. Just that it's a fact. Our brain actually stop or come to full cycle of development by age 24, by age 25. Then the rest of our lives, we use that which have been stored over the years. That is how come neuroplasticity is now very sensitive and conscious about what we have stored in the last 25 years of our life. Because after 26 going, you live with all that you have recorded. Except you become conscious to rewrite your pathways with different experiences. A lot of us who saw broken homes, a lot of us who came from broken homes, go and check our track record. A lot of us have also exited marriages. We've all divorced. Why? Because we never thought that those things that we were experiencing, we were seeing, will happen to us, forgetting that your brain was recording everything you were seeing. At the right time, it will play out. Because it becomes part of your unconscious being. And most of which, the things, I've come across people who call their exes idiots. That whore. I do my best to try to correct them. Because the words they are altering is only a symptom of what is really inhibited in their mind and in their emotions. The words they're altering is just a symptom. That is not the fact. It is in there. So I suggest and I submit, let yourself go. Because to forgive is of the benefit to the forgiver than the forgiving. There are people who have fought their husbands because they didn't have the courage to fight their father then when their father was molesting their mother. There are people who have fought, who have paid back their husbands because they are masculine figures. There are people who have treated their wives because the things they would have wished to do to their mother for how their mother treated their father. So in marriage, unconsciously, they maltreat their wife because they wish they could have paid back their mothers back then. And you too, when you were going into such a guy's life, you didn't check the pattern. When you were going to that lady's life, you didn't check her family pattern. You thought you have found big boobs, big butt, slim and slender, ashediabna, feeling. So, just to wrap up, I want to re-echo that there is no marriage that is the same. Don't let anyone make you feel that all the attempts you've made to mend your marriage and get it better and everything, so now you want to exit means that you are a bad person. I'm saying that I have an example, and I have a pastor friend on this platform that the wife collapsed his ministry. What was left for him was to commit suicide until he heard me on radio. Then we started engaging. Gradually, they had a successful, healthy divorce. Guess what? This pastor has remarried, living an amazing ministry life. Yet, his fellow pastors condemned him. So I keep saying, the person you allow into the space when you are in the moment of your need, or I call it when reality sets in, is important. Then I also said, marriage is not an escape route for poverty, for investment, for all that, because reality will betray your true intent. Then I said also that work on yourself, find the you. Socrates says, know thyself, find the you. Look at your SWOT. And yes, marriage is so beautiful, but enjoy your single life and develop yourself, invest in yourself, do great things whilst you are still single. Because sometimes when you enter the space of marriage after the first child, you realize that everything goes into the child's investment and your life halts. And that, if it's not well managed, can create chaos in the marriage. So go and check. A lot of people will tell you it was after we had our first child, I started seeing the marriage was deteriorating. After we had our second child, some even third kids have broken homes. Third kids. The final thing I want to say that we are human beings. We are not human doings. So in our beingness come our shortfalls, our strength, our weakness, our opportunities, our threats. They are all embedded in the beings. If we are human doings, we are robots. They are only designed to do. But we are beings. We think, we feel, we experience. So our total makeup is all that these things are in our lives. Please, when you find love, enjoy it. No amount of money can buy it. But don't become a slave. Don't. You can only love somebody when you have yourself love first. Oh, AJ, please. I heard you have been watching. So thank you all very much. If this meant something to you, please share. Share on your wall. Share to somebody. Perhaps it will unlock a door. Thank you very much.